what if I could help some homeless people in San Francisco? What if I can help some domestic violence victims over here? I was able to win $1.9 million in a year. I was leaping into the unknown and trying to do it as cautiously as possible. But that was really nerve-wracking as well. I'm so glad I did it. I would never go back.
Even though Amanda loved working for an organization who was doing fabulous work in the community, she had a little voice inside of her that was saying, serve more people, serve more organizations. And she knew she wanted a broader scope of work. She also wanted a life that she was more in control over, dreaming of days where she could take her kids out of school in the middle of the week and take them to a random festival. She decided to bet on herself and transitioned into grant writing consulting full-time. Less than a year later, she has made over 6 figures in her own business, and in 2.5 years of grant writing has won over $8.9 million for organizations she cares about. Talk about impact. Meet Amanda. Amanda, I am so excited to celebrate you today. Thinking back to your life pre-collective, what drew you to seek a grant writing community?
I had learned how to grant write in a very intimate setting. Like, circumstances moved me away from that person. And I was like, I really liked that. One of my favorite things is collaborating with people and bouncing ideas off people and seeing other people thrive and grow. Just being able to be a part of a community where people are helping me and I'm being able to help others.
You were in an in-house position and side hustling on the side. A lot of people talk about the loneliness involved in freelancing. When you decided to stop your in-house job and go full-time into consulting, did you have that fear as well?
100%.
How'd you work through it?
I just committed to being a part of all the different events in the community, engaging in the community. But I also found 1 or 2 people from the collective who were here that we started meeting. It felt more like a bigger community and I wasn't just alone.
What made you decide to leap into consulting full-time?
Flexibility, I think, was probably the number one thing. I felt like I needed to believe that I could do something bigger than work for the man.
What was the feelings around, I got to do something, I got to pursue this calling?
Probably my favorite thing about grant writing is that you can invest in different organizations who are doing things that you kind of wish you were doing. I wish I was able to serve all of these people that they are able to serve, these thousands of people. While I liked the clients that my in-house job was serving, I felt very narrowed and we're helping these 200, 500 people a year and we're doing in-depth and great work with them. But I was like, what if I could help some homeless people in San Francisco? What if I can help some domestic violence victims over here? Being able to reach more people, that was a driving factor.
What I really loved is that might be one of my favorite definitions of grant writing, kind of like getting to do all the things that I want to be doing. You get to be involved in so many different areas. I love it. When you joined, taking us all the way back, what was your definition of success?
I was like, if I signed 1 or 2 more clients, if I felt like I might be able to quit my job and might be able to do this more long term, if I knew what I was doing, because I have the freelance clients, I felt like I was serving them the best that I could. I had that cap, but I didn't know how to go further or deeper. And
take me back to a really challenging moment on this journey.
When I first did a federal grant on my own without the covering of in-house, like doing that as a freelancer, I felt like I needed more covering. In my in-house job, when I did federal grants, I had a collaboration team. Without having that collaboration team, I booked some coaching calls and I was able to just kind of press through that. I just had to figure out a whole bunch of different nuances about me, how I work, and also my clients and what I needed from them to be able to do the freelance as a federal grant writer. And so that was a whole beast to tackle. And that's, I think, probably one of the most challenging things I've gone through. And we got that grant.
I heard the collaboration aspects. There is like some safety and like multiple people are going to check this. What's the fear that really triggered there for you?
I'm very detail oriented, but proofreading is not my strong suit. I'm always being told I need commas here or proofreading here and whatnot. If you asked me when I graduated high school what I would do, I would say anything but English. And here I am, a grant writer. See, English is not my strong suit, but storytelling I think is. And so that wasn't what was championed in high school, but storytelling is a lot of what grant writing is. So we're telling the story of these people and being able to share their story with the funders so the funders can fund our nonprofits. My fear is that not so great at English. I found a lot of success in doing it and a lot of value in doing it for myself. I hired a proofreader at least part-time for that time, that season, and that really helped me to just, okay, I can do this. Somebody else is looking at it. I can feel more confident in myself.
The core fear there that I think so many people can relate to, whether it's the English part, the proofreading part, the budget part, I'm not good enough at blank, whatever fill in the blank is. And that core fear, you just articulated so many beautiful ways. Like, look at that fear straight on and say, like, how do I help myself through this? You brought your stuff to the coaching calls. You leaned on your community. You hired for the skill that you didn't feel the strongest in. All these things are figure outable. Was it also hard to leave your full-time job?
I called all of my mentors and said, what do you do if you're about to jump into this thing? You'll never quite feel ready. And it is just a faith leap. You have to believe in yourself and you have to do it. I'm going to say I half believed in myself because I turned in my 2 months notice, weaned myself out of the job and like softly launched it to my family. But I was leaping into the unknown and trying to do it as cautiously as possible. But that was really nerve-wracking as well. I'm so glad I did it. I would never go back.
I eventually reached this point where you're like, I'm an entrepreneur or I'm a business owner. It took me a very long time to say those words out loud. I was like, who's that? I don't know. But I think it's because I never identified as a risk taker. And what you described was still taking the risk, but doing it in a way that felt safe to you. And that is beautiful because we do all take risks in our life. It's just that risk taking sometimes looks different. So thank you for like, no, look at how intentionally I set up the risk I was going to take.
There was also the part in my mind, I heard some quote right around that same time that said, if not taking the risk is its own risk.
The choice to not do something is still a choice. What are you most proud of? Here in 3 months, you have hit 6 figures.
Yes. And that's probably what I'm most proud of, is being able to get to this point. Already it's July or whatever. It's the first 7 months this year. This is the most I've ever made in a year so far. Crazy. Maybe it's like growing the business is what I'm most proud of. But maybe also what I'm most proud of is seeing them thrive, seeing my organization thrive. I really do it for my people. I think the other part of that is just the doing it. I don't know how to say that.
And you're doing it beautifully. How has the dream changed? Because it's one thing to come on and say, I want a couple more clients. I would approve that I can do this. And now it's different. What's the dream now?
I see a need in my community. These nonprofits don't have local resources, and it's a very local-minded community. I want to build an office place to meet where a nonprofit could walk in the door and meet with a grant writer, whether that's me or somebody else, but the resources are there for the community long term. I think that's more of my dream now. It's less about me being able to take a day and go to a festival with my kid, which was definitely a dream last year, and I did that several times. Just, I'm taking the day off. The kids and I go to school. In a 9 to 5, you just don't have that flexibility.
You established the safety that you needed to feel like you were thriving in your life. You wanted X, Y, and Z. One of those things was to be able to spend time with the kids when you wanted to do that, right? And then once that was established, that security was allowed this other dream of higher impact to come forward. Right? It's beautiful. You have won $8.9 million for your clients.
I only checked that since 2023, so 2.5 years.
What is the impact that you're creating? Tell us about one of your clients.
This client is as youth transition out of foster care, they need workforce development skills and life skills. Many foster kids or people, when they exit the system, maybe they don't have a driver's license, maybe they don't have a government ID, maybe they don't know where their social security card is, or they don't know how to open a bank account. And so there's like a lot of basic life skills that this organization teaches, but in the meantime, they also give them a job, and they have up to 10 social enterprises that they run: a thrift store, a staging homes, a culinary arts center, graphic design. I can't even think of them all. There's a rand. They pair them up with a mentor, and they work with them for 1,000+ hours a year. And the kids that exit from this program then go on to actually have full-time jobs. Before me, the grant writer won $40,000 for this organization in a year. And then when they hired me, I was able to win $1.9 million in a year. It's really been transformative, and we've been able to expand the program into another county. That's one of the things that I heard the EDs dream to grow. And I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. Are you ready?
What's the process? Because we don't go from just 40K in a year to 1.9 million without some intentionality.
I had the old grant writers list of grants, but then I did a full funding strategy for them and included government grants on that. Being able to go after government grants, and then in that seeing, oh, you need this and you need this and you need this before we can actually apply for these government grants. Started with them in May, and it took us 6 months to get all those back end things ready. So being able to implement a lot of the things that the collective taught about how to make sure someone is grant ready, and then pulling them to that point so that we could apply for those bigger grants. But no, I did not apply for 20 million more grants. I don't have that energy.
With intentionality comes actual funding. It is beautiful. Thank you to this organization who's doing such cool work for the youth in your region. We are going to end with some rapid fire questions. What is your favorite way to soul care?
A massage.
What is your favorite way to celebrate?
My favorite iced coffee, pick a day out, it changes every day, and the thrift store.
What is your why? Why do you wake up and do this?
To make the world a better place. I want to see my kids grow up in a place that is thriving. And so investing in the nonprofits that are more focused on the community is my dream.
I think you're doing it. So thank you, because we need change makers like you dedicating themselves to these incredible causes. I can't wait for the day that I get to walk into that office or whatever it looks like and say, oh my gosh, Amanda created this.